Well, the elections of the next AUC chairperson are around the corner. It is this month, and the Africa Union has released the protocol to be followed in the voting of the next Africa Union chairperson. That is part of the story that I'm going to tell you in this video, as well as the preparation of the different candidates in vying and campaigning for these very important seat in Africa, and specifically the journey of Raila Amolo Odinga in campaigning and winning this AUC chairperson seat that has been hotly contested by candidates in the Eastern African region. Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit that notification button so that when I release something new on Raila and AUC chairpersonship, you get notified as soon as possible. Well, it has been months of diplomatic talk and campaign across Africa, across the different 5 regions as designated by the Africa Union. There have been campaigns by Raila Odinga, by Mohamed Youssef to campaign for the seat of the AUC chairperson. We have seen the different candidates in different countries. We lately saw them in Egypt, where Raila Odinga met El Sisi, the president of Egypt, as well as just followed after was Mohamed Youssef meeting the same El Sisi of Egypt. That shows how this race has been tied and the diplomatic promises that have been given by these candidates publicly and those that we don't know that have been given by these candidates as they were meeting these presidents behind closed door to speak about their future in Africa, to speak about what they are going to present as candidates, as chairpersons in the Africa Union for these African countries. We know about the critical West African countries that have been pointed to be the kingmakers when you talk about the Africa Union chairpersonship. And we've seen these candidates very vigorously, fiercely campaigning in the Western African states. We saw Raila Odinga with Bola Tinubu of Nigeria. Raila Odinga went to Togo, he went to Senegal, he has been in Mauritania. Raila Odinga has visited almost all states, all influential states in the Western African region. He has gone to the Southern African region to also speak to the presidents there. He has been with the President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. He has been with the Zambian president. He has been with different presidents in the South, in the North as well, and in the Central African states. He has also visited different presidents and has met these different presidents in these critical Africa Union summits. For example, the Energy Summit that was just recently attended by very many heads of state in Africa. Therefore, the campaign is really on a high note. These are the last days of the campaign, and these candidates are really getting out there to campaign and give their manifesto to these presidents as the voters who are going to elect them if they're going to be the next AUC chairperson. But there has been information that has been released by the Africa Union regarding the protocol to be followed if these candidates are going to be elected for the AUC chairperson, and that is what I'm going to tell you right now. And well, before we go into the nitty-gritties about the protocol that will be followed by these candidates, it's important to note, first of all, that there will be elections of the commissioners, and then there will be elections of the chairperson and deputy chairperson of the Africa Union. Now, the election of the commissioners will be held on 12th to 13th of February, and those will be the dates that the commissioners are designated to be elected by the Africa Union. And then there will be the election that everyone is waiting for here in Kenya and the larger Eastern Africa, the election of the next Africa Union chairperson and the deputy chairperson. Mind you, the chairperson is coming from the Eastern African states, and the deputy chairperson, the vice chairperson of the Africa Union, will be coming from the Northern African states. So that is very important to note, that we are not going to have the chairperson and the deputy chairperson coming from one region. The deputy chairperson will be coming from the Northern African states, And now the chairperson will be coming from the Eastern African states, and that is the race that we have been following closely here. And the election of the chairperson and the deputy chairperson will be held on the 15th to 16th of February, that is this month of 2025. Now, those are the dates that we will be very, very keen to follow. These are the candidates that will be very, very keen to assess how they're going to be elected. First of all, the commissioners, how that will pan out, and then we'll be following on the developments before the election on the 15th to 16th of February for the chairperson and the deputy chairperson. Now, it is also very important to note that as per the Africa Union, voting continues until one candidate has gotten two-thirds support or two-thirds of the votes of the heads of state represented in that assembly. Now, that is to mean that if there are more than two candidates and then they go for a vote, let's say three candidates, and they go for a vote, in the first instance, there will be a vote of all the three candidates being voted for the Africa Union chairperson or deputy chairperson. Therefore, there will be three votes for this chairperson or deputy chairperson. And then if all the three votes will not have a conclusive winner, there will not be a two-thirds winner among these three, then the third contestant, if there are only three, the third contestant will be dropped out, the one who will have the least amount of votes. If there are four or five, then only two, only the first two who have the popular vote will be retained to go for the next round of voting. And that will go on for another three times until the one who has the support of the two-thirds will be gotten from the votes of the heads of state in that General Assembly. And that means if the two candidates remaining also go for a vote and the vote is still inconclusive, that then means that the one with the least votes will also have to be eliminated and there will only be one candidate remaining. And there will be a caucus again for those heads of state to vote for this one candidate. If he attains two-thirds, then he wins. If he doesn't attain the two-thirds support, then the chairperson, that is the current chairperson, will call off those elections and then the process will start afresh. So that is the process or the protocol that has been released by the Africa Union. That is how the voting will take place. It is important to note that all these three candidates will go for that vote, and then it is only the candidate who will get two-thirds. It's not 50 plus 1 as we are used to popular elections anywhere else. It is two-thirds support. This candidate must garner two-thirds support so that he wins that elective seat in the Africa Union. And as the race is right now, Raila Odinga still has an edge compared to other candidates in the AUC, and he is the favorite candidate to win this Africa Union chairperson, basing on the kind of campaign that has been given by the Kenyan government, as well as the kind of response that Raila Odinga has been getting from the presidents that he has been meeting. So this is part of what we are going to discuss each and every day here at Bonafide until the day that the elections will be held and we will have a winner at the end of the day for the Africa Union chairperson. And also we will have winners in terms of commissioners that will be elected, as well as the deputy chairperson of the AUC. Keep it here, keep it Bonafide, subscribe, like the video so that we continue to caucus about the diplomatic angle to all this, as well as the journey and the campaign of Raila Odinga and other candidates in winning this AUC chairperson bid.